Well, hi, and welcome to my shop, and thanks so much for joining me here today. It's March 3rd today. So yesterday I spent some time trying to get some lights to work properly on this. I'll show you what I did in the end. And I've also kind of freshened up the cabinet here a little bit. This guy's not in the best of shape, but just cleaning it up and polishing it up made it look a lot better. Anyway, so the radio's going in the cabinet. But first we're going to try my new lights here. I tried and tried and tried to get a light to work inside these sockets, and I just couldn't. So, in the end, what I've done is I've soldered some bulbs in directly. And this might actually be a better solution anyway, because these lights are going to work until they burn out. They're never going to get loose in the socket or have something like that happen. So, and these are slightly brighter lights than what would have been in there, I think. Slightly brighter lights. So we're going to find out right now just how this works. So my shop is well lit right now. So if we see light through here, thumbs up. Okay, let's see. Also, I think I may not have since the last video I have put the bottom plate on and done a alignment of the radio. Didn't require much adjustment at all, really, if any. I didn't really find anything that seemed to be way out, but I did discover I had made an error on the top shortwave band, and I corrected that error, and that has to do with detecting the image. In the instructions it says align the radio at 16, then look for an image at 15. And so I didn't read the instructions well enough. I looked for that image and couldn't find it, and thought, hey, thumbs up, no image. But it actually says if you can't find the image, you've done the alignment at 16 wrong. And to correct it, you back out the capacitor, find another peak. I think it's back out the capacitor. Find another peak, set it up, set 16 up on that, and then go look for an image at 15, and you should find one. And I did now. So in the previous video, I demonstrated how to align the radio wrong. And so a warning to everybody who watches my videos, you're watching me do what I'm doing. You're not necessarily watching the best way to do things, or even the correct way to do things. It's just the way I do them. No guarantees come with my videos. No guarantees at all. It's up to you to use your brain and your stuff on your radio, for sure. So let's turn this guy on now and see what kind of light we get. So I'm going to switch it on here, and then I'll apply the power. I'm going to start on the dim bulbs just because I'm a chicken. Always a chicken. And the interesting thing is one has come on, and the other one, why didn't the other one come on? Probably the ground connection is a little weak on it. So we're going to wiggle it around. Come on, light. How come you won't go? Well, that's odd, because okay, well, just looking with one for a moment, since I have it here. So even under high lights, you can see the light in this area, and the opaque material on here is working beautifully. It's blocking the light beautifully from coming through. Let me I'm going to start to see more and more of the defects in there. Let's darken it right down. I got to put the full power on here. Give it full brightness. The light's going down one by one. Now it is only one bulb, but I just want to take a look. What's that look like? So, clearly there's going to be a hot spot right near where the light is, right in this area. I think it would be better if the lights were pushed in more, especially even with one light, it's lighting up the panel a little bit over here. That's really pretty good. Wow, it's going to look great with another light. And that's what I got to work on, get that other light to operate. That's with almost no volume turned up. Excellent. So the next step for this radio is back into its cabinet, and we'll get a look at it in its home. Like many of these very large old speakers, the cone develops stress cracks, usually around the outside, usually, I don't know what usually angled this way. Well, right away you can see one. Whoop, hey, how those cracks develop, something like that. You can see one here, Another one here. There's one over here. There's one right here. And I think that's all there is. Nice speaker. Very nice. These big speakers are great. Okay, so to fix it, I'm just going to cover it because the objective is, not to restore the mechanical integrity of the cone, although you'd like that. It's to stop the air from coming through these openings. If you let air come through here, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear a little flappy sort of sound. You might not even be able to identify it, what it is you're hearing. And you can't get rid of it unless you do something like this. Just basically band-aid it. Now this is a mixture of glue and water, about 50-50. Just regular wood glue is what I'm using. And that's too much glue and not enough water, for sure. So let me just water this up a little bit here. Okay, try this a bit here. First I should really wet the cone down a little bit. Band-aid here. And that should seal it up. Okay, I'll just make another one over here. It'd be pretty disappointing to have a big whopping speaker like this, which has the capability of really producing some bone-shaking bass, and then instead of getting that, you get you get a buzz out of this. Here we go. Okay, one last look. I'm looking for places where cracks are beginning. I don't see any. Oh, no, it's a little bit of dirt. Okay, you really have to look carefully on these things. It's a large surface area to really scan with your eye. But I think I got it. Very good. Okay, now, I never disconnected the wires from the speaker to the chassis, so I've had to kind of pull this off this way. Okay, speaker going in, sound coming out. Oh man, I went to put the speaker back in and it turns out it's just full of spiders, ex-spider houses in there, holy smokes. And so I got all that out of there. I'm not sure living inside a speaker is a good place for anything, is it? Kind of like living above a bowling alley, wouldn't it be like that? Now as for the dust that's in here, I'm not going in there with anything, otherwise I'm going to, well, I use my little paintbrush, where to go. You wouldn't want to put anything sharp in there. I think I got most of it out. Yeah, most of it's out. Yikes. Okay, now I can stick the speaker in, pretty sure. Okay, let's hope this is the last test in the shop. You see the microphone down there, that mic's not on just yet. And there's the radio. The cabinet looks a lot better. I kind of cleaned it up and then just did a little bit of really basic cleaning of dirt. And went over it with just a little bit of oil and stuff like that, just to make it look presentable. Got the knobs on it here. Don't pull those knobs. pull those knobs, they come off pretty easy. They're on there okay now. So I think we're ready to start. Let's just change a bit of light. Okay, I'm going to change to that microphone there. Okay, new battery in the microphone. Let's just check it here. Ooh, yep, it's working. Good. I think we're ready. I think all I got to do is turn the radio on. Let's douse some lights again. Okay, here we go. See what happens. I think we're on the broadcast band, but I'm not quite sure. Okay, well, it's receiving lots of noise. The fact that it's not receiving a station is just the quality of the antenna I have on it right now. This radio is going down to my listening spot, and we're going to listen to it again in a much better antenna arrangement. But let's try shortwave. It's the high band now. So, okay, no problem. Once again, bad antenna arrangement and conditions aren't that great right now, and when I say that, I mean the sun conditions are not that great for shortwave. Particularly right now, there could even be a HF blackout happening right now. I don't think so, but there was a G1 class storm. It came by surprise, and another one that's supposed to come maybe right now. I'm not sure. But we'll try it again with a much better arrangement and a couple of radios to compare it to. But essentially, it's working. That's what this proves. Great. Okay, I gotta lug this thing down to another spot and get her all set up down there. Great. Oh my, where are we now? We're in my listening area here. Let me just flip the camera over that way. That's my listening spot, and I got the radio back out of the cabinet because there's a particular capacitor that I neglected to change under the chassis. This is the important capacitor that ties the metal chassis to one side of the incoming power line, and I left the old capacitor in place. I just kept forgetting to change it right up until I had the radio all back and assembled. I did get a chance to measure the chassis voltage here, and it came out 65, 70 volts, something like that, a little higher than I would like. You know, that's a normal thing when you have a capacitor tied to the chassis. You're going to get
kind of half line voltage reading. Flip the plug around. You can't do it with this radio anymore because I put a polarized plug on it, but you could do that. And you would see like 60 volts on the chassis each time if you use a high impedance meter. Not necessarily a bad sign using a high impedance meter. If you plug back and forth and you're getting 20 volts and 100 volts, I'd be a little cautious about that situation myself, and I think that's what's happening here. So I'm going to change the capacitor and be done with it. The other thing I neglected to do, kind of embarrassing, is to clean this glass plate here. So I'm going to clean that up. I'm pretty sure the print is on the back side. And you really have to check these, because occasionally they put print on both sides, but I'm pretty sure this is all on the back side. Got it. Great. Okay, so I'm going to get on and do those things. So just cleaning the dust and the dirt off the front of this glass has made the background appear to go from kind of a grayish color to jet black. Really dramatic difference. You know, the dust was so uniform on here that you would think you're actually seeing the color of the background, but you're actually just seeing the dust on it. So fantastic. If this goes in the radio, there's another glass plate that sits in the radio right on front of it here. Okay, great. Capacitor next. Okay, so the part I'm talking about here is right down here. You can see the big heavy wire coming right out, soldered to it, and then a heavy wire going up to the on-off switch. This is right on the power line. So all I got to do is just kind of nip this off and then get an appropriate kind of capacitor, which I have, and then figure out where the ground goes. See, they achieved the ground with this one, with this can being riveted here. Just offhand, I don't see a grounded terminal nearby there. There's one up here, one here. No, not that. Okay, I gotta sort it out anyway. And we'll I gotta get a soldering iron in here. Okay, hopefully this isn't too difficult to do. Now we need a little bit of separation here without moving things too far. This is just a rock solid wire. Now we got to make sure this won't come back in contact here. If it's going to want to do that, it is going to want to do that. Oh, jeepers. Okay, so I got that all done. I got it nicely taped up here. Very good. Ready to put the radio back together, put the cabinet back together, stick it back in the cabinet. That's right. We'll see how it works.
Oh, you might be wondering, what's happened? Well, it's now March 5th. And what's happened is, when I went to test this radio back in the other location, by the way, I apologize for the sound quality. I'm still working on making videos from that location. So I just apologize for how crummy the sound was. I discovered the radio doesn't work. It just doesn't receive. Doesn't matter what you feed into this antenna, unless it's stupidly strong from a signal generator, nothing's coming out of the speaker. Very disappointing. All three bands. So here it is on my bench again. Now I did make one more observation while it was back in the other location, and that was if I touch this grid, I hear sounds come out the speaker just like you would expect from touching a grid. This is the IF amplifier here. When I touch this one, nothing happens. And what's in between? This guy. So I think that's where the problem lies, but I'm going to leave it at that for now, because I've seen a little too much of this radio lately. So tomorrow I'll get after that, and looks like I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to have this thing all apart again. I'm going to make another attempt at fixing the connection, which I'm assuming has broken inside that can. So thanks a lot for watching to this point. Good luck to me.